Hi guys, today we're going to talk about the change in rear shock and Cascade Link fitted to my Specialized Stumpjumper Evo. I bought this bike as a frame only build up, and it came with this Float X rear shock, which is actually good enough. You don't have to go for the Fox Factory rear shock. But because I'm a tinkerer, today we're going to talk about the upgrade from the Fox Float X, which comes standard on the Specialized Stumpjumper Evo Alloy frame up build, versus the Ohlins Coil ttx22m. ttx22m. Okay, anyway, for this frame there are only 4 different companies that make coil springs that will fit this frame, because the shock is fitted offset to the left. If you look at the top view from the middle of the bike here, you can see the coil spring sticking out a little bit to the left. So everything is skewed a little bit to the left, which applies a lot of pressure on this shaft. And only 4 companies make the coil spring that can be used on this frame. You see all these linkages is offset to the left. It is not symmetrical, it's asymmetrical, and that causes a lot of side load pressure on the shaft, which snaps the absorber itself. So Ohlins is one of the companies that make them to fit this frame. I believe EXT is another. Recently RockShox has produced a coil that will fit this frame, as well as the final company I cannot recall, but I will list them out in this video. Anyway, the air shock on this frame is actually excellent. Unfortunately, I am just a guy that like to tinker on my bike, and I like to change and feel what a coil spring does to the bike, the ride. That's why I have upgraded or switched out for a coil spring here. It does complement the Cascade Link, which we'll be discussing and talking about later on. What the difference are between the two, between air spring and coil spring. The air spring is more harsh. It makes the frame, the bike, more sporty, more poppy, allows the bike to be ridden with more of an attack mode. You've got to be in an attack position a lot when you're attacking the bumpy stuff. However, with the coil spring, you can ride more relaxed. Both are fast. The air spring allows you to pop off jumps much easier, and it becomes more of an active bike. The coil spring dulls that active bike down and make you don't have to work so hard to hang on to your bike. The air spring makes you ride with a lot of aggression, and you will have to hang on to your bike while you're attacking the rough stuff. Coil spring, you don't have to hang on so tight. You can let the suspension do its work. Now, what happened is that with the air spring on this bike, I was blowing through the suspension really quickly. I was bottoming out. I would always find my ring indicator to be off the shock. How I remedied this was I tried by adding a volume spacer in here. I put in a 0.5 volume spacer, and that still didn't help. I was still blowing through. It helped a lot, but it didn't help 100% of the time. There was a few drops, I don't know which drops, which I would hit, and I would still find my my travel indicator all the way off the shaft in some rides, but less often within the ride, yeah. And I was at the borderline of not being able to take the stiffness of the shock with the volume spacer fitted inside. I did not like the ride because it became too sporty. I'm a rider that prefers a more comfortable bike, and the volume spacer, oh my goodness, volume spacer forced me, I'm gonna have to remaster this video. Volume spacer forced me to have to ride even more aggressive. So I had no choice but to put on a Cascade Link, and after I put on the Cascade Link with the volume spacer, the bike became too hard to ride. I had to remove the volume spacer and the bike became perfect to ride with this air spring and the Cascade Link. The progressiveness of the Cascade Link allowed me to find the correct setting and the exact feeling I wanted this bike to give me, and I achieved that with the Cascade Link. No volume space, one volume spacer which comes with the factory. I think it's a 0.25 that's in here, and Cascade Link with the correct normal air, recommended air pressure pumped in from Specialized based on my weight, and it was perfect already. I didn't have to do anything else. So because I'm a person that likes to experiment, I went ahead and upgraded my suspension with a Ohlins coil spring, because I've never tried Ohlins before, and the result was very good. I'm utterly satisfied. Seen here is my 2022 Stumpjumper Evo Alloy frame-up build. So it's a custom build with the Cascade Link and Ohlins coil suspension, ttx22m. This is the version 1. Unfortunately, I don't have the version 2, but it is good enough. Has low speed compression, high and low speed compression. High speed is only 3 clicks. Low speed compression is like 16 clicks, and rebound. It is set exactly to how I like it. A little bit hard. I'll need to spring down one size, one weight down, and then should be good to go. Very, very comfortable, very, very plush, and very, very linear. Suspension is near perfect at the moment. So this Ohlins coil spring upgrade is something that I highly recommend. I love it. It really makes the bike more comfortable, but it reduces quite a little bit of pop, which the air spring provides. Now, what does this Ohlins coil spring do with this Cascade Link? As you all know, I rode this Cascade Link in the Nai Pledang race with my air spring, my air shock, and it was perfect. It was tuned perfectly. I finally got the perfect tune for this bike. Air with Cascade Link gave me everything that I expected and wanted from this bike. The progression in the suspension geometry changed. So it became more progressive with this Cascade Link, and it prevented a lot of bump stopping. It did not blow through the travel as easily with this Cascade Link in my air shock, as opposed to the stock Link. Stock Link, it was just blowing through the travel, all 150 mm of it. With this Cascade Link, obviously you'll know the travel has increased to 158 mm, and the leverage ratio has increased, making it more progressive by, I think, not mistaken, I'll try to check the numbers. I can't remember now, but I think it's something like 7 to 8% increment in progression. So progression means the ramp up rate of where the suspension becomes stiffer towards the end of your stroke, and so this angle that the Cascade Link comes with, it is more bold compared to the stock Link, which is straight, made for a more progressive suspension travel. So it doesn't blow right through. Towards the end of the travel, it becomes harder, and that's what the progression progressive rate makes the provides that character in the suspension. So with the air shock and the Cascade Link, this entire bike became exactly how I always imagined it to be. Now, why didn't I leave it with the air shock? Because me, like everybody else, I love to keep tinkering with my bike, and I got a good deal for this Ohlins shock. I've never ridden Ohlins before, but my conclusion with coil shocks is they're all good as long as you get the spring rate correct for you, and you're able to tune your rebound and compression to how you like to ride it. And they're all very similar in feel. They're all very plush and comfortable. Ohlins so far I feel is the same as my DVO Jade that I used to have in the past, and yeah, just FYI, DVO produces coil shocks for Ohlins. Yeah, that is what I know from the past. I don't know whether they still do that, but I know they used to, and they might still do. I'm not sure about whether they still do now or not, but whatever it is, DVO Jade was very good. Ohlins Coil Spring, same. That's my conclusion for coils. I've only been on 2 Coil Spring suspension, if my memory serves me right. Yeah, I think so. But anyway, the current setup on my bike now is really good. I love how the Cascade Link has changed the entire bike's feel. The bike has become more enduro-ish, taking big hits. I still take huge hits on it, the same thing, but at the moment I feel that I am bottoming out my rear tires more often than not. In the past 2 rides with the correct and my rear tire, which is 27 psi, 27 to 25 psi, I have felt myself hit the rim twice, and I have a tire insert in there. I'm running a big foam insert in the likes of airliner, Vittora airliner. So I've got a Vittora airliner in there in enduro spec, and I don't know why I felt the rocks hitting the rim the last 2 rides that I've been out in Kiara. So anyway, my final thoughts of having this Cascade Link fitted on this Stumpjumper Evo Alloy is that it's a must-do for all hard-hitting Stumpjumper Evo riders who feel that they've been bottoming out their suspension too much. They need to get this. With this, you will not bottom up your suspension, whether it's air or coil, and you will feel that you got the low speed sensitivity as well as the high speed ramping up rate of the suspension, which does not allow you to easily blow through the suspension. You will have more travel at the back, you have better ramping up rate, and you don't really have to retune your suspension, your shock to get what you want. All you have to do is throw this on, add a little bit of air, and you'll be good to go. So that is my conclusion. Go ahead and make the purchase for Cascade Link for those of you who are Stumpjumper Evo Alloy or carbon owners. I'm not in any way sponsored or subjected to give them a good review. I just like their product, I got it, and I am doing an independent review on this Cascade Link. SJLT2100, that's what I got. The build quality is very good. It slid on perfectly. I didn't have any problems installing this, nor do I have any problems with bolts getting loose or any noise. Very happy with this product. good stuff, man. Good stuff. Thanks, guys. Very, very nice. I hope this helps out those who are riding the same bike. I have no regrets. Go ahead and do that, and you'll find a different bike in just replacing the rear link. Very, very different bike. Became more comfortable and more compliant, not so sporty. Previously, the bike with the air shock, it was very sporty, a little bit too hard, a little bit harsh. It was always on. You had to always be on, and you always had to attack. And with the Cascade Link put on, you don't have to always attack. You could relax and enjoy your ride with a little bit more comfort. And then if you're a little bit of an older guy like me, I'm 43 years old this year, and I feel that I don't want to keep rattling my teeth, the fillings out my teeth. You know, I'm not that rider that rattles, that goes full on 100% all the time. So that is why I went into having a coil shock fitted, because the air shock was very aggressive, made this entire setup very aggressive. The Cascade Link smoothened it out, made it less aggressive, but still able to do the aggressive stuff almost just as well, but more compliant. I don't know how to explain it to you. With the Coil Spring, it became doubly so, even more comfortable, and but still able to smash all the time. So I hope I'm able to get the idea across. I don't know how else to express myself. I'm not an English major or or a scholar in any way, so I'm not so good with words. But yeah, Cascade Link, very good. Whether you have the coil spring or the air shock, doesn't matter. If I were to do it again, I might even save money and not get a coil spring, and just maintain my air shock. Just a basic float X, good enough. Don't have to be the factory. Alright, thanks guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. Please like and subscribe. Over and out.